Okay, let's just dive right into this. I want you to imagine facing immense personal tragedy. We're talking the heart-wrenching loss of your own children. And then, instead of receiving any sort of sympathy, you're met with vicious public mockery. How would you find comfort in that? How do you even respond when society boldly tells you that your name, your impact, and your entire legacy are just permanently over? Well, welcome to this explainer, where we're going to explore Surah al-Kawthar. Now, this is literally the shortest chapter in the Quran. It's just 3 brief lines. But as you'll see from our sources, within this incredibly concise text lies a timeless message of resilience. It's a profound source of comfort for anyone facing hardship, and it completely inverts the definition of what it actually means to be victorious. We are going to unpack this chapter verse by verse today. We'll look at the historical context of this darkest hour, the profound spiritual guidance of the river of abundance, the required gratitude and devotion, a stunning prophecy of reversal, and finally, a truly mind-bending linguistic miracle. So let's set the historical scene first. We're looking at 7th century Arabia, specifically the city of Makkah. And it's absolutely crucial to understand that in this tribal culture, a man's legacy, his honor, his entire continuity, it was strictly defined by his male heirs. Quite simply, a man's legacy was his son's. During this period, the Prophet Muhammad was going through a moment of profound, agonizing personal pain. He and his wife Khadija were grieving the tragic loss of their infant sons, Qasim and Abdallah. It was a time of immense emotional hardship. But rather than offering condolences, prominent Qurayshi pagan leaders, guys like Al-As ibn Wa'il and Abu Lahab, they actually seized upon this tragedy. They began to publicly mock the Prophet, taunting him with this deeply offensive word, abtar. They rejoiced. They claimed that because he had no surviving sons, his lineage was completely severed, and his mission was basically going to die with him. They were literally celebrating his grief. It was right in this darkest hour, amidst all this intense psychological warfare, that Surah Al-Kawthar was revealed. And what's fascinating is it doesn't start with a defense against those insults. Instead, it offers a magnificent, elevating gift straight from the divine. Listen to this first verse. Indeed, we have granted you Al-Kawthar. What is really interesting here is the grammar. The verse opens with the royal we, emphasizing absolute majesty and power. But look at the verb. We have granted you. It's in the past tense. This means this incredible gift isn't just some promise for the future. It's an absolute guaranteed reality right now. It's a done deal. And the gift itself is al-kawthar. This comes from the root word kathrat. Now, this doesn't just mean a lot. It signifies an overflowing, completely unlimited and unending abundance. By granting this, the divine is completely inverting those worldly insults. The mockers focused on a temporary, physical loss, but the prophet was being granted an otherworldly, eternal gain. According to traditional sources and prophetic descriptions, Al-Kawthar is also a literal, vivid river in paradise. We're talking banks made of Hollywood pearls, soil that is fragrant musk, and water whiter than milk and sweeter than honey. But it's also a vast spiritual abundance. This includes the revelation of the Quran itself, the honor of prophetic intercession, and a legacy of billions, literally billions, of future followers. So after detailing this magnificent promise, the second verse of the chapter immediately pivots. It shows us the required human response when we're presented with such incredible divine favor. The verse starts with the causative particle fa, which translates to so, or therefore. It's a tiny letter, but it logically connects that immense blessing to an immediate action. Because you've been given this unimaginable abundance, you must express gratitude. And you do it in a very specific way, through steadfast prayer and sacrifice. The absolute crucial point here is the phrase, to your Lord. You see, at that time, pagans were also praying and sacrificing animals, but they were doing it for self-made idols, mostly just for worldly show. This command instructed a total purification of worship. It demanded a deep, personal, and exclusive relationship with the divine. Your prayer and your sacrifice must be solely for the one who granted you that abundance. Which brings us to the third and final verse of this incredibly short chapter. And this is where the narrative comes full circle, turning its attention directly back to that cruel insult that started the whole thing. This is just a brilliant divine rebuttal. It takes that exact weaponized word, abtar, and hurls it right back at the mockers. By using the emphatic indeed and the pronoun he, the text creates this absolute certainty. It's not the prophet who is cut off. No way. It is the enemy, the one harboring that deep-seated hatred, who is truly Abtar. And history proves this to be a stunningly accurate prophecy. Let's compare the outcomes. Those mockers, they perished. Their lineages either completely vanished or just became irrelevant, and today they are remembered solely for their hatred. Meanwhile, the Prophet Muhammad left behind billions of spiritual children. His name is exalted globally every single day. His legacy is the exact opposite of cut off. Now, beyond all this rich historical context and the spiritual lessons of comfort and gratitude, there's another fascinating layer to this text. Remember how I said this is the shortest chapter in the Quran? Well, it contains what scholars describe as a mind-bending structural and linguistic miracle. The magic anchor number here is 10. Check this out. This entire chapter consists of exactly 10 unique words. There are 10 pronounced words when read by a reciter, and amazingly, if you look at the Arabic script, each of the 3 verses contains exactly 10 letters. The precision here is just incredible. And notice how the grammar perfectly aligns with the message, creating this amazing rhetorical beauty. You've got verbs in the past tense delivering immediate guaranteed blessings, and particles demanding immediate gratitude. But then, and this is the best part, when it talks about the enemy being cut off, it uses a noun. In Arabic syntax, a noun signifies a permanent fixed state, cementing the ultimate timeless failure of anyone harboring that enmity. Even the rhythmic sound of the verses is by design. The chapter features end rhymes that end in the letters A and R, kawthar, anhar, abtar. When spoken aloud, this phonetic elongation naturally stretches the sound in the reciter's mouth. It's literally mimicking the endless, continuous, flowing nature of that river of abundance it's describing. So this explainer really reveals how Surah Al-Kawthar operates as a timeless blueprint. It takes a moment of agonizing grief and bullying and reframes it entirely. It teaches us that when we face our own darkest hours, true abundance isn't found in temporary worldly metrics like wealth or bloodlines. Real, unimaginable abundance is found in a deepened, grateful connection with the divine. The legacy of those mockers vanished completely, while the legacy built on devotion and spiritual impact echoed through time. It leaves us to reflect on our own lives, doesn't it? When we look past the physical and the temporary, what are we doing today that will echo into eternity? Thanks so much for exploring this with us.